All right, so we're looking at interactors. Interactors are a library that we've been working on at Frontside to help us do testing and assertions. Primarily around UI tests, but we've got plans to potentially do more with it. So we have a few integrations already, and we've actually, this used to be part of the big test repo, which is a test runner. And interactors, well made within the context of the big test runner, wasn't necessarily tied to it. And we felt there was a lot of value existing there, and it could be used with other runners. And it was much further along than what we've gotten to with the big test runner. So it made sense to kind of pull it out and see where we could run with it separate. So we kind of just started finishing that up. And we've got our docs site split out with a quick start guide and the previous guides that we had as well. And I've been asking around, seeing what things would be fun to experiment with. And I got a couple pointers, and it sounds like modals might be an interesting thing that we can get into. And I got this from Derek in the Party Corgi server, actually, and shout out to that Discord. And this is a fully accessible working modal. So this might be something that we can play around and see how we'd be able to test this. We kind of want to see, like, that's nice. What I want to explore is how we can write tests and how we're able to actually test that this is working as it's expected. Not necessarily writing the components themselves that need to be tested, although that might eventually become part of some of this experimenting. So you can see clicking the button brings up the modal. You click outside of the modal and it dismisses it, or you can click the X. Clicking within it works just fine. Nice, I appreciate the humor. So I think we might, we'll either grab this directly or we can pull pieces out of it, because it might be interesting to see if we put like a button in here or something that has another action. That might be an interesting thing to test as well. So drop some links in here. And I think we're going to play around with this. And as far as test runners go, Cypress and Jest are rather popular. Ava.js is another one that's reasonably popular, and I appreciate what they're doing with the support for ESM. So I'm curious to kind of try that out too, as I have less experience with this. It has some interesting things too. Like, I can appreciate all this. So let's look at this modal. What do we have? So we've got a function. And it seems to be operating on, okay. We might be able to just pull in this index.js directly. And just use that directly. So essentially it's presuming some level of vanilla JS. That is a polyfill. I assume we probably won't need it anymore because it doesn't look like this has been terribly active. I'm guessing these tests are additional tests, yes. Okay. Okay. They do have more things. Nice. Okay. We I'm trying to decide if it makes sense to just grab pieces of this. It probably makes sense too. Yeah, so it's doing some interesting things with the tab index and adjusting focus. I am curious how this is going to end up interacting. So what it's doing is it's pulling in style sheets. And I'm guessing JS is loaded at the bottom. Yes. Polyfill, demo. Yep. Okay. So what? I think we'll just pick one page. Auto loading. Boo. Manually. Okay, so this one's actually loaded from the URL hash. That's interesting. Although it does not appear to have the hash set correctly there. Various. So this is a fun one because clicking outside of it does not dismiss it. So the only way you can actually dismiss this one is clicking the cancel button. When was this one made? It's the most recent one. General. Focus element. General. I think we'll probably try this focus element one. It's got enough pieces there that I think we could probably just pull this one directly. And kind of just copy some code over. It is MIT license, so this is definitely something too that if we did pull code over, we would definitely do the appropriate attributions. But just for stream testing, I'll probably just copy and paste code to make it easier. So with the Sava.js, we want to run these tests I assume there's some way that we can run no. I mean, if this isn't like immediately apparent what we need to do here, we might just switch off to what we'll spend, say 15 minutes looking at this, and if we can't get anywhere with Java.js, then we'll probably just pull in Cypress real quick. With Cypress and this, I suspect we can get a fair amount of tests. Mostly because I'm familiar with those setting up those. But I did say I wanted to experiment with Java.js. I great about making sure to tell people that this is going on. Just realized I should probably drop some notes about that. Okay. All right. Java.js. Let's see. We can set up a directory. It looks like we gotta pull it in. Stream. Guess I'll just start with a fresh repo. Interactors modal. Sure. Deal with all of this later. Sure, that's fine. Code. You know what? I need to do. Forgot I have a bigger monitor. My apologies. There we go. Code window. Ha. All right. Well, we've been talking about stuff this whole time, and you've not been able to see it all. Well, my apologies about that. That's what I get for changing things around. Okay, so Java.js, we want to we'll have to play around with my window layout stuff a little bit, but this will work for now. Okay. So we got a repo. This says to add, install, and set up. So, oh, interesting. All right, we're just going to install it. So we want a test script. Probably just grab this whole thing. Still using require. I'm pretty sure this is compatible with ESM. Parallel runs. Execution context. I was pretty sure this worked with JS-Tom or similar. Support statement. This is mostly Node. That makes sense. Writing tests. Appreciate that they have some translations. I mean, sure, we'll set up this. So we want to do node modules. We might as well use the latest versions of npm and node 16. Oh, fine, I'll pin node first. Okay, so Volta is a what's the best way to describe Volta actually? How do they describe it? JavaScript tool manager. That makes sense to me. So what it does is it's in the same vein of MVM, and what I just did was pin the versions. So if you have Volta and you run this, it's going to be using those versions, and it'll just on the fly download those for you, which is handy. So we want test folder, I'm assuming. Just do index.js, copy you in there. Now, how do we run it? I kind of want to. I want to see. I want to see if this. Whoop, what I meant to do. From up. Guess this has somewhere. I can drop that in here too. Oop. I guess I just need to do Ava. I'm assuming it's just this. How does it discover those tests? In the project root. No test. No test found in test slash. Oh, so it did find it. Oh, okay. Is it still using? I don't know if this is going to work, but I am very curious. Can I make this a module? So MJS will run. Hey, look at that. That's nice. Okay. So MJS runs basically is a way to opt into the some style of modules. The previous was CommonJS, and that is currently the default, and that's why it didn't work the first time, because import is inherently a ECMAScript module syntax. So now, can we run something browser testing? That seems like a good place to start. The mocks, the globals. Okay. We've got browser env. I wonder what that gives us. Does it give us access to the? It does give us access to the document. I've not used. Window may be a better solution. So we kind of want a browser environment because interactors expect that. So it looks like it gives us access to it. We're gonna give it a shot. Oh, you said 15 minutes, right? I think we can do this. Java setup. So we're gonna switch these to imports from, because we are opting into MJS in this one as well. And now our test should be able to do this. So we should be able to do that, and that should give us 3 passing tests. Could not resolve module with that name. Node modules Ava API. So it's trying to It's possible that this require thing doesn't work. I wish it would tell me more about like what the So we can't find it. What is that? Where is it looking? I wish it would give us a little bit more help with that. So this then requires it before every test. ES modules require ESM. That would be it. Okay, so require ESM. That's got to be it, right? Right? I mean, we kind of forced it to do this already, I think. Oh. Oh, it's a package. It's a package. So we're just good. So support is incomplete. Oh. So it maybe doesn't fully support it. It's entirely possible. We are just pulling in vanilla, so we're not going to have to worry about Babel and whatnot too much, I don't think. Because basically what they're doing here is they're setting up a component and dropping it in there. There's 6 helpers. We did say we were going to experiment today. Debugging, browser testing. Oh, I mean, let's see if there's an options or something. We might need to just use. I'm honestly fine using com.js for this if we need to, because it seems like ESM isn't fully supported yet. Code coverage. Where is there passing arguments? Snapshot configuration. There's a require concurrency. Node arguments, that's interesting. And the worker processes. Oh, okay. Okay. We are going to wait. I wonder if that's it. Oh. Oh. Hey, that was it. Okay, so we got modules. Great. I'm just gonna assume I want everything right now. We can always pare that back if we need to. So now we are working off of this. We have things in the DOM. So here's our document. Now what would be the best way to pull in this? See if they give us any more help. So this is definitely more of a, I appreciate that they link out to some others. So like, workers are the thing that run the tests, and they have that architecture, I believe, so they can do the parallelism. I hope that doesn't give us issues, but we will find out. I think maybe what I do is I've got the document. I'm just going to try appending our source files to it, because they're all in a state where we don't need to build them. So that should work pretty well. I left my water by the sink. That's sad. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab my water. Okay. So we've decided on focus element. I think it's here. Now, are we going to be able to see this? I just thought about that. We're not going to be able to see it run. That's sort of sad. Maybe I will just switch to Cypress for a sec. Because it's kind of nice to see these interactions actually happen. That's one of the benefits of having Cypress. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Ava, we will come back to you. Once we get it set up with Cypress, we can run the same exact tests. I imagine they're going to be similar enough. So npm id Cypress. Blah, blah, blah. So we will add a script because I don't want to have to type this all in every time. Whenever this decides to finish. I'm presuming that it's downloading Cypress because that includes some binaries in the tools. Help me out here. Writing my first test. So it kind of expects us to put this somewhere. So I'll probably just serve it. So while that's downloading, let's make we'll just do src / modal. I guess that's kind of a dist. We'll call it that. What are you doing here? Why didn't you make that a file? I wonder if it only does that with JS. That'd be kind of interesting. So our index is going to be test focus element. We're going to grab this and we're going to use serve to put it somewhere. Probably could have done this a faster way. This is much longer than I expected it. Yeah. And then it is loading the scripts. Oh, it does use demo. Curious. Interesting. I wonder if that's still current. I think I'm gonna just try taking that out. We'll see what it does without it. Do that. I don't know what this demo.js is. What is that? What do you have in there, my friend? Okay. I'm just gonna toss that in a JS folder though, because I don't. I mean, what is it? For skip link. What should I call this? We'll do it hash change check. Because it is going on, or it is being executed on the hash change event listener. So that feels sufficient. Probably gonna need that. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Let's just grab this first. File. Copy. Yeah. It's not really made anymore. I mean, it kind of is, but it's been pretty to. So hash change check. And that's relative. Don't need to return to index. Can do a source add that GitHub repo. At least we got some minimal pointing back to the original. I think this is probably, CSS, need CSS. Not quite sure why it needs both of these. I don't know why, I don't know what. Is actually built in, like, I don't know. Demo is an odd name to me. I don't understand the significance behind it, other than naming is hard. Hash change.css. And we want this. Area modal.css. Okay. I'm hoping this is done. Yes, it is. Okay, so we can do npm set script size Cypress. And that should set the script for us. So now we have a Cypress command to open it. Now we need a npm I serve. Whoop. No. Serve. Apparently I type server too often. Npm set script serve do serve modal. We could actually do, I mean, we might potentially have multiple in here. So what we'll do is we'll have serve and it can point to the src. Serve. Golly. The amount of times I press or type server. All right. I did it again. Oh, habits. Habits, you are so fun. Yes. Come on. There we go. So now we should be able to go to localhost 5000. There we are. So we have something to test. Now let's pop open another terminal, do cd what did I call interactors? I think. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It's I want to. I just want to like get it going. There's an init, isn't there? Add open. Wonder if it just does the init the first time around. So npm run is aliased to nr, so you might see me doing nr. So when I type that out, it's saying npm run the script psi pass the args open to it. Now this opens up a window, and this is the runner, and it does bootstrap a bunch of stuff for us. It's not particularly helpful, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on the side. I'm just gonna click things from there, because we'll be rerunning it and opening up a few times. So in Cypress, we just want to fancy, okay. I don't really care about the advanced examples. It's fine for right now. This is that. Okay. So if I do this, whoa, big window. So this is the Cypress to-do.spec. That. So what I'm gonna do is actually, what should we name this? I guess we'll call it Modal. Modal.spec.js. And now what we want to do is, first of all, we want to visit, for all of these, we're going to visit the modal. Describe modal tests. Don't really need the comments. I've used it enough that I can do without them. And we've got other docs too. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to visit modal. We need to set the base, I think it is. Base. You're not going to help me out, are you? No, you're not. Testing your app. Start server. Yes. Base URL. And it's going to be at port 5000. So this should open up our modal test. And it does, but it doesn't have any CSS. Curious. So it's failing, but that's expected because it's still trying to test things that were in that to-do example. No big deal. Why would the CSS not be working? It definitely works if you just visit it. So there's probably some proxy thing going on here. Ooh. Curious. And JavaScript isn't loading either. So that is going to be an issue. Base URL localhost. So we're visiting that URL /modal. What is it doing those relative to? Oh, hey, there we go. Okay, I needed the trilling. All right, we have something. Little drink break. So we're at an hour. I don't want it in this folder actually. Let's delete that. Let's get these interactors in here. We can throw a few tests at it. And I think that will be some decent progress for the day. So we'll go ahead and install. npm I d at interactors slash. Okay. So normally you would bring in /html, but with Cypress actually pulls that in as well. And since in this case right now we're using Cypress, we'll just use that directly. And that can be our first test here. I'm not liking this. So there shouldn't be a sign in button. We've got two tests right now, so they should both fail. That goes, oh, the other one's gonna go to the slash page. It's not what we, oh, nope, we did fix that, okay. Clicks button, yes, okay, all right. Did we miss some setup? Cannot set proper name of object. Only has a getter. We can take that out now. Just in Cypress. Looks like we have a typo there still. This is not particularly helpful. And feels like there's something going on there. Those are buttons. Right. Button. So if we say launch model 1. all problems in the Cypress runner. Okay. What version do we get? Okay. And it appears to be the latest. We should have the sample in here. I don't know if it uses Cypress or not, though. The wait, was I just in the sample? So it's saying, oh, go into the app. App is gotcha. Okay, so that's got the Cypress. All right. So am I missing anything? I mean, I'm cool with this. Except my integration folder is different, but we can deal with that. Don't know if that's gonna make a difference. Doesn't appear to. All right. What else do we got in here? Fixtures is empty. Plugins is empty. Support is empty. What if there's an issue with this? Do we have resolution? Oh, I realized resolutions worked with. Oh, this so this is still using yarn. Okay. Okay. So it's pulling it in. I wonder if there's actually an error. We are going to try adding. Ooh, actually, did we? So that's just serving. I won't really need to restart that, and that's Cypress. Don't really need to restart that either, I don't think. So let's try this. It says you don't need it, but I wonder if there's something there that actually expects it. No. Cannot set property name of object. What could it be? I am gonna stand up for a second. Take a 2-minute stroll around the house. Stretch the legs. I will get the blood flowing. Maybe it'll help out with this debugging. I will be right back. See you in a minute. All right. So I did. We have a little tomato garden outside. We've been picking tomatoes. Getting to the end of our harvest, but they're pretty tasty. All right. This feels like, what version of Cypress do we have relative to what's expected? 8.4. Did they change something that broke it again? That's the main route. Packages with Cypress. Oh. It's on 8. Curious. We didn't really change much in this switchover. I'm tempted to try the old one just to confirm. So it does pull it in 32. And there's an HTML 32. We need a music change. Y'all can't hear it, but okay. How can we approach this? We're not getting much information to go off of. It only has a getter on there, and it's all cropping up in the Cypress runner. Do we have any other examples, perhaps? We're not using JS DOM, so this should be just happening directly within the browser. That very well could be part of our issue. Storybook. So if we're using Cypress, we're just visiting a web page, so we don't actually need to stand anything up. So we don't need to do that like we would in Jest. And I think maybe something like this would be what we would want to do if you're using Ava, where we're using JS DOM. So I mean, that all feels right. I don't think we do anything too off the wall here. And we are getting interactions to happen as we might expect. I don't think the actual integration with Cypress is huge. I think with Cypress. I think what I might do is copy this in and see if we can just turn up a little bit of a deeper look into what's happening here. Oh, is there an SRC? I didn't even notice. Okay, SRC. So we have an expect and we have a do. Can that's a property name on an object which only has a getter. Yeah, let's try. Not much has changed here. We're gonna just see what it looks like to do. What it looks like if we were using the old update Cypress, remove. Okay, so add big test Cypress. If we just take both of these out and we do at big test / Cypress. just to make sure that something didn't go funky in the switch over here. Okay. Same error. It's possible that this. No, it's. We have Cypress tests, so there's definitely. To get rid of the interactors, right? Interact. Interesting. What versions do we got? Doesn't not list them anymore. Must not list it because it's technically deprecated now. So if we scrub the block file and we do npmi at I think this might give us the old. We're scrubbing the package lock just to make sure that we're actually getting. Whoa, we don't have any like weird version number pollutions. Old block file, that's interesting. Probably close some of these tabs. Otherwise the next step we can try is just dropping this in directly. It's written in TypeScript though, so we'll need to convert it. Trans tools. Does this have a TypeScript? No. Just want TypeScript to JS. Does not have that though. Oh well. I don't think it'll be too bad to just convert it to JS for the moment. I don't want to throw another build step in here. So we definitely have a modal. It's doing what we're expecting. So this is all hooked up correctly. We're hitting the test, that's all hooked up correctly. But there's some issue with this. What's .2? Does not exist. Do I need to register the plugin or something? Vaguely recall something like you need to add it to your plugin list. That would be kind of frustrating if that's the issue. Sample. Is it in the sample app? I don't think we have anything in any of these. Plugins. Fixtures. Oh. Interesting. Interactors with, okay. So with Cypress, import. Okay. Ah, I see, okay. So our sample is doing multiple tests, so there's a just curious why we don't pull those from interactors. I wonder if it's still re-exporting them, maybe. Why is this taking so dang long? That is frustrating. Frustrating. Okay. So I think this is what we want. And it doesn't look like there's actually any other base URL. Doesn't actually have any like notes for plugins or anything like that. So it's kind of annoying that those just are empty. Is there... Where's the package file? It just doesn't exist. App. Oh. Interesting. Okay. So it's running a specific spec file. Cypress run test. Yep. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put tags on here. I'm a little bit late to do it, but well, you know, whatever, I guess. I always forget about that. What else? JavaScript programming. Sure. Okay, finally. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, so this should all still be running. Let's just stop Cypress just to be certain. We will open it again. It'll give us that dialog. Show up on the side. Run the test file. Do we get the same error? We get the same error. Weird. So that is so weird. Okay. We're gonna get rid of this. Cypress is sitting in that folder, so I don't think I need to worry about the test folder giving us issues. I just want to make sure that we're not getting any weird interactions with Ava. We still want to serve while test is kind of going away for the moment, but I guess we'll just do that. Sure. Stop all of this. Stop you. Okay. Let's do npmi at interactors / with Cypress. So that is literally the only thing that we're pulling in. So we need to be able to require from that folder test Cypress. So we are importing from that. And Cypress. Let's do Cypress 8. npm pin. That's fine. It's entirely possible there's something with Cypress that has changed. It appears that we've tried it with version 8, just based on the sample app here. Cypress 8. We've also, if I do Cypress, what actual version are we getting here? Eight 3. So I could probably pin on 8.3. Try this. That doesn't work. Man, I wish these installs were faster. Once you stick Cypress in here, it seems to take longer. I do a bunch under the hood. Right. I wish Ava would have worked. It would have been interesting to try that out. That might be next week, though. And I can't think of anything else that would be worthwhile to try. Oh. Yeah, and see, this is kind of interesting because this is actually doing it, importing it from material UI interactors. Let's start everything up again. Yes, this is my first time using Cypress 8. Thank you. Open that spec file on the side. We should open that up full screen. Okay, hey, there we go. Interesting. Something might have gone haywire in 8.4. That is curious. So we have 8.3. I'm gonna just install this. We need to stop it first though, yes. We're gonna do 8.3. It looks like 8.3 works. So there must be something in 8.4 that went haywire, which is unfortunate. But it's unfortunate that we ran into that. We're gonna spend an hour and a half getting set up. Then 20 minutes writing tests. Well, that's installing again. I mean, we can kind of look at. So we've got. Are we still serving? Yes, we are. So we can kind of look at what tests we want to write. So these are all the tests. We can do some describe blocks, and we'll say modal call modal, and we'll call it test 1. And so we're always going to be going to the modal, but now we have blocks, so this will be, it'll end up saying modal test 1 clicks button. So when we click the button, we're going to have some text, and we want to, I think we want to verify that the OK button is there. That might be a simple one to start. So cy.expect button OK dot exists. So we'll get a bunch of very minimal tests in. So this is pretty much the same thing except it says done. What does 3 look like? Focused heading modal. Okay, so that's kind of a fun one. So we can expect that launch modal 3, expect button done exists. And cy.expect is able to take multiple, I believe. So do doesn't help us much. Expect. Yeah, so we can write things as an array and it'll do all of them. So we want to say it exists, and we also want to check that the heading is focused. And the header is his example, so we can do heading example dot exists heading example focus as focused true. And whoop, the X in the corner is a button. with an ARIA label. Interesting. Okay. So this will be a fun one to test. We might end up just, we could probably do it off the ARIA label. So close, I think, will work. I'm gonna write a whole bunch of tests and just watch. They're gonna all pass in the first try. Need these comments. All right, let's see. You are done. Okay, let's open up Cypress again. So 3 is not, that is curious. What is doing that? Those. All right. Just for sake of getting something to work. I don't want to type into that anymore. Whoop, stop. No. We'll reinstall you for a billionth time. Hopefully it'll go faster because it has already downloaded and put it in place. Yes, it did. Thank goodness. Open you up. And let's see what we're working with. Okay. I guess it trims. It looks like it trims. I didn't think it trimmed. Okay. I actually like that. Because I think there's actually spaces before and after these on the button. If I was paying attention. Okay, so heading example does not match filters. Filter focused, we expected it to be true, and we received false. Oh, yes, because that one's not filtered. Copy and pasted. So this should be button. I think you can do it off the ARIA label. We might need to specify it though. I'm not 100% certain offhand, so let's give that a shot. All right, so we have a button, we have a couple buttons, we have one that has nothing in it. So we're probably going to need to say, and this is nice too. We do much of our stuff in TypeScript. So this is some IntelliSense ends up being real nice. So the default locator, which is what I'm typing in here, is the text. But we also have some other things that we can use. So we could do. We could check that it's immediately focused. But first of all, I kind of want to check that it exists. What do we? I thought we had some ARIA. Oh, we had some ARIA stuff in there, but I guess not. Let's just double check, because this will be a good thing to look into a little bit. So one of the ideas behind interactors is at the base level, they're kind of just functions. And there's an idea of being able to extend these functions. So you can write your own interactors, and you can also extend off of the predefined. We've called them built-in in the past, but they're not really built in. They're just like you could make these from scratch if you wanted to. So you can make your own interactors from scratch without using any of the predefined ones, and extend your own interactors, which makes this really interesting when using this within a design system. So you might have noticed in this existing interactors, there's material UI. So we made a material UI interactors that can be used to both test material UI itself, but also be pulled in an app that uses the material UI design system. And that becomes really interesting because a design system can use interactors and write interactors and use it to test their design system, but then the downstream users of that design system can also use those. So things that we'd want to test would be like these type of interactions and hover effects and that's those sort of things. So like component level tests you could put within the design system. And that gives a lot of flexibility, which is really, really interesting. So actually, this is probably the fastest way to do it. So you could go to the predefined interactors, and we're looking at the button right now. So this is the button interactor. You can see we have a base level HTML one, and we're extending off of that. This is what we're selecting on. CSS selectors. If you are familiar with them, that is something you might recognize. The locator is the first item, optional, and it gives us the yeah, we really don't have ARIA. It gives us an easy thing to select on. So like the default is just select on the text. But if you're not able to do that, if there's multiple things that match an inner text, or in the case that we're looking at, this button doesn't have any text. So there's nothing actually to like select it on other than the HTML internally. But this is going to be used by people that have. This is going to be used by people that have screen readers or are using some sort of assistive technology. So being able to navigate and hear these ARIA tags is something that we also want to consider when we're testing and looking at this, because we want to make sure that the idea behind testing these components is that they will work and we don't accidentally break them for all of our users. So we don't want to just kind of test one path or forget about other paths or other ways that these components can be used. And we don't have the ARIA on here. So some of the other interactors that we made, I believe, had aria tags, and you can actually select off of the aria label. Focused. So in this case, I think we'll do. Well, we're not going to get into extending today. I think that's going to be too involved. I mean, for the amount of time that we have left, it's going to be too involved. It's not a terribly difficult thing to dive into. Or not terribly involved, it's just for the amount of time we have left. So our button, we can look off the ID. That might be the most straightforward thing that we can go off of right now. Where'd this go? Okay. Or class. Yeah, I don't really like the class either. We could potentially do. I really don't like to use the class. And this is done through CSS. Can we do? I'm actually curious what this is going to give us. Yeah, so this, like the built-in Cypress. Expects focused closed. Yeah. Okay. So I think there's only one thing on here that has. That's interesting though, that I can actually see those other ones that they're considered visible. Okay. Well, we're gonna keep digging into that. I think that's gonna be interesting to get into. And we'll probably want to come back to those aria labels. But for now, what we're gonna say this thing doesn't exist and it has focus. And let's see. No. So it's gonna be the only thing that's focused. Yep. So we can tell that the button's focused. Oh. Visible. So there's also an is, .has and .is are the same. It's just more for readability. So button is focused. We're gonna have to really not quite a fan, but because we're gonna go with the class. So class HTML. So there's ID, title. I don't think we have any title. No. Class list, class name. I'm surprised that the focus doesn't work. Like functionally, I feel like this should work. It's not actually focused though. I'm clicking on the wrong one. Focused close button. And this is a little bit interesting too. The oh, did not find button. Oh, there is no done button. Okay. Was that actually the issue? What else do we have there? Yeah, we don't have a done button, so it must have been failing on the done button before and I just didn't realize it. I'd like to be able to select that more. We're gonna have to double back around and look at these ARIA stuff a little bit more. And 5. Let's get Modal 5 done, and then I think that is going to be the stream for the day. Oop. So what is 5 testing? Focusing the modal dialog. So we're just checking that this whole dialog window is focused. And it does have a done button. So we'll just check that done exists. Example exists. And then we're going to use the HTML one directly, and we're just going to select that container. So this would be more of a, we're doing kind of testing from the design system perspective. Like we want to make sure that this is operating the way we're expecting it to. So this wouldn't necessarily be a test that you would write as a user of this design system. Or of this of a component library that does this. I feel that that expectation for that being tested should live at the component level. So what does this element look like? So ID modal 5. So we can say HTML ID modal 5 dot is focused true. There we go. So is there anything else that's worth testing before we end the stream today? It would probably be nifty to sort of dig into this a little bit here. This is really neat that they show this. So JAWS is one of the screen readers. So one thing that we could do, tab ordering is difficult. And I think it's something that we want to tackle with interactors, but we're not currently. But we definitely expect aria. And I think when we were moving these HTML interactors around the buttons, we lost. I think we lost the aria stuff. So intertext comes from intertexter content. Let's just check. So within some of the material UI, we're doing it, but it appears that we don't have anything within the predefined ones. Yep, it appears to be the case. So I think next time we'll want to look at the RA labels a little bit more. And it would be nice to have tests that test essentially every interaction path. So there's somebody that's going to be there's going to be cited users that use a mouse, and they will use the scroll wheel and click on elements. There'll be users that use the keyboard directly to navigate, and that will likely be in the form of tab and enter. And then there's going to be users that are using screen readers, and that's similar interactions, except the screen reader will be helping them navigate by sound rather than them being able to visually like jump between elements. I don't know that we'll be able to do. We're never going to be able to remove the need to test with screen readers, but we could potentially ensure that we don't accidentally break some expectation of these the screen reader elements being there and being able to give that context. And I feel like I'm missing one or two other paths that somebody might be able to interact with these elements. But that is something that we're going to look into next time. So thank you for anybody that stopped by the stream today and was kind of quiet. We had one or two people stop in here. Thank you for anybody watching the follow-up recording. I look forward to interacting with you in the future, and have a good day. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.